This is the largest Conquest tournament ever in France, and we are going to cover it. Hello everyone, and welcome for another video of Love and Wargames. Today we make a tournament report for the ITC, the International Team Championships of Conquest. So 2,000 points tournament, and even my cat, you can hear, she's very excited about it. It's going to be teams from all over Europe fighting each other. It's well open worldwide, but I understand that for a miniatures game, you sometimes don't want to fly too much. We're gonna have Germans, Belgium, Dutch people, and of course a lot of French. And it's gonna be 3 versus 3, so it's a teams tournament. I bring Dweghoms. As you have heard in the last battle report, I'm gonna play alongside Hyacinthe. He has basically exactly the same Wadrun list that he brought the last time, so lots of dinosaurs. And I will also play alongside Avner, Valentin, that plays Nords. You have never seen yet on the channel is Nords army, but you might see it very soon. We're going to make a tournament battle report, like we did for Legions Imperialis, like Epic Armageddon some time ago. You said it was interesting. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna show you quickly the list, and then there's gonna be a sort of like super fast battle report. I will be in the game, so I will not have a lot of time, but I will show you the deployment, the scenario, my adversary, like their list, etc. And then once in a while, maybe not at the end of each turn, but once in a while, I will show you how the game is going, what I'm thinking, what is the options, and of course, how the game ended at the end of each round. I will try to go around, get some, look at the other tables, the different armies. There's going to be Parabellum, the creators of the game, exactly, that are going to be here. So I will try to get some questions in and to show them off, and we'll see how it's going, and of course, a little debrief at the end. Let's not make this intro any longer than it needs to be. This is going to be my 1,000 points of Dweghom. You've seen it on the channel a couple times. The last battle report I had a very similar list, but I changed it a little bit depending on what I learned. The one thing to note is that I removed a lot of the secondary options like artifacts and stuff on many units, but otherwise I focused more from this list on having more units. The big pack here, you can see we are gonna have some initiates led by an ardent caraway. So I love this very like Roman turtle appearance of this guy. You've seen how tough he is. He's gonna have tenacious as well as he had the last time. I do hope I can use this little, I don't know what it's supposed to be, a fire forge, I think, a flame caster as my ardent caraway, because I just love the miniature so much. Otherwise I have the original here just in case. The ardent caraway brings one pack of 5 flame berserkers. Those are their new models. I think I used like 4 little magma forge behind because I was running out of models. So those are going to be my first wave. One thing to note is there's going to be hold rare as a warlord, which means every light command stands, and basically every command stands count as +2 for the control of objective, which means this is one of the few ways in the game where light units, and I have quite a few, can capture objectives. So this will really give me a boost, and this is basically the core concept of the list. I have light units that take the objectives and very tough units that stay there and keep them on until I win by points. So 5 flame berserkers, this is going to be a really powerful strike force to really be, like, I will throw them very fast and bring a lot of pressure early game while waiting for my initiates to hold the line. I have a second pack. Those are the older models of flame berserkers. But it's always good to have more. It means I'm gonna have 2 cards for those guys. While we talk about the light units, I'm gonna have 2 units of hold ballistae, so they're shooty guys. Again, they are lights, but because of my warlord, they will be able to stay in the back, capture objective, and shoot 18 inches. One of them is going to be led by my steel shaper. Since I have a steel shaper, I'm going to be doing 2 regiments of 3 steel forged. So those are the fully painted ones, and those are still a little bit work in progress, but I'm still bringing them anyway. And finally, the leader, the hold rare, you can see him right there. So he comes with a pack of 5 stands of hold thanes with banners and everything. This guy is going to be just a beast. He's hardened 1, like cleave 1, all of those guys, and those are like really my elite dwarves. So that is the plan, to get my light units very fast, have my whole things which can seize objectives. So as soon as this guy is on an objective, that's it, it's mine. This guy can take another objective very easily because they count as 6 stands, +2 for my characters, +2 for the command stand. They're supposed to be reversed officially. So it means there's going to be 10 stands for contesting. Their defense 4 from the front, tenacious, just absolutely love it. They're going to be resolve 5 at this point. And then those are my hammer, the 2 units of steel forge. To once the enemy is really glued to my main units, they go on the flank and they do a lot of damage, and they will not stay just waiting to be charged by a taunter like it happened last time. Okay, this is the list. Let's go right away to what is technically 2 more by the time I record this video, and let's see how is the atmosphere at the start of the tournament. Okay guys, here we are for the first match, for the first few turns. We are beginning turn 3 here, and it is quite interesting already. First, let's just take a look where we are playing. We are playing in Besançon, so northwest suburbs of Paris. There are a lot of people. We are playing against a German team. So as you can see, we have Valentin Avner playing his Nords there. We have Hyacinthe playing his Woodrunes there. I will just, you know what, I will just say hi and show how it is going. Valentin, how it's going for the first... it's so-so?
Yes, it's
so-so. But it's the first time you see on the channel the Nords of Valentin, so here they are. Do expect them in a real battle report very soon. Look how beautiful it is. And there is even some giants up there, because of course you cannot play Nords without giants apparently. And he's playing against a beautiful Woodrune army.
Oh yes, beautiful army.
Yeah, they're very orcish, much more than Hyacinthe's Woodrunes. That's fine. Okay, so we will see at the end, like I will tell you who wins. I'm just making a little quick reports. Hello. We have Hyacinthe here, you recognize the list, we talked about it. And there is a mirror match here, they're playing against their Nords. And as you can see, he's extremely aggressive with this one. We'll see how that works for him. And from my side, I play against whole dominions. As you can see, just as planned, I have kind of symmetrical thing with my Flame Berserker here. I'm pushing there, Steel Forge here and there. Yeah, we are playing on the grind them down scenario. And there is this beautiful dominion force, very tough, very tough. But now we're beginning turn 3. There is everything from them almost coming out. I hold my old things in reserve. My plan is to get those guys a bit further, and then turn 4 I can bring my heavies through the reinforcements line, and then I'm hoping to kind of like breach his sides. We'll see how that goes, but you can see it's a nice 2D table. There is no 3D terrain, which makes me a little bit sad, but at least we have more room for maneuvering. Not spending too much time, but we'll try to make some little heads up further down into the game. Just a quick trick that I wanted to show that has been filmed by Parabellum. So we are beginning turn 4. As you can see, the battle lines are here. My Flame Berserkers with all their attacks did not manage to kill 3 stands of Moroi, because as always, you know them, they roll extremely bad. However, now we begin turn 4. These guys broke the line, so my reinforcement line for my Thane that I kept in reserve is going to be all the way there, so I can really try to flank hard, which is probably what I'm going to do. And yeah, everything is going fine. We're 12 to 11. Now it's going to be the real intense part. I will not film as much, but we'll meet probably at the end. Okay guys, we finish this game at the end of turn 5. We kind of like made the first activation to turn 6 just to see what would happen. In the end, it's a victory for the old dominion. I hope my microphone's all working because it's very loud here. I will see the editing part. So what happened there is that he pushed me out of this flank quite aggressively, like his regeneration was just too much for me. I had my reinforcement line at the beginning of turn 4, as we've seen, but I had to deploy my old things there because, well, it was blocking here with my Steel Forge, and my other Steel Forge were blocking there. So yeah, I kind of like discovering this tactic. My Steel Forge, maybe I've been too much on the flanks. I did manage to hold the flank and do some damage. Here I would hold, for sure, and will hold for a long time. And we played turn 6 to see I would not manage to kill him there at 1 wound left. So we play beginning of turn 6, I do not get this objective, and even though I clear this flank, I do not clear it enough to get enough victory points by the end, because here he secures this area, like whatever happens here, I do not get those back. And in the end, it's a victory for the whole Dominion, even if we play until the end of the game. But it's quite close, it was very nice. Thanks to my opponent, if you watch the video, it was a very enjoyable game. It was very fun, it's a beautiful army. I am actually going to make a close-up of this, because you don't come here for only the report, you want also some beautiful shots. And look at this, those Flame Berserkers holding the line with the initiates behind. How cool is that? The very beautiful old Dominion. And yeah, as you can see, there are some beautiful, almost conversions. And these guys from the Founders Edition, very cool things. I killed quite a few units, indeed here and there, but in the end it was not enough, and I need to play more of the objectives for the next time. Though, as you can see, my Berserkers just ran amok in the back. Well, didn't matter that much. It would have mattered to make a weird charge later on, but end of turn 5, not enough. But it was very fun, very instructive. Without further ado, let's go for the second match. Oh, no, one thing I didn't say. Valentin with his Nords discovering the game did not win at all on this table, and actually Hyacinthe had a very tight game, and the other opponents like the Nords that played against his Dweghom was very aggressive, but his portals were absolute MVPs, and he won. So two victories for Germany and one victory for France. We're not playing national teams, but it's just like we are playing against a German team specifically. It's not, we don't represent France, luckily for France. Alright, let's go for the second match. Okay guys, now you should hear me a little bit better because I just realized that part of my setup was not activated. So now you should hear me good for the second turn, the second game at least. I am playing against Dweghom, a very offensive list with 2 packs of Thunder Riders, 2 packs of Chosen of Conquest, a lot of aggression. For now we are at the end of turn 2. As you can see, we play on Forlorn Hope, so we really struggle to destroy the markers and especially to control those. One Flame Berserker on the flank, one another here. This guy doing not much for now. I will try to hold the center. My first Steel Forge arrived. And now we're going to start the third turn. I already have 4 points, but I really feel like it's going to be like this battle report against Hyacinthe, and I will have some tough time at the end when everybody is dead. We'll see how that goes. Let's go for turn 3. Alright, I was not late for this game, so I tried to take a little bit more. But yeah, end of turn 3, and as you can see, it's going to be a huge clash. Thunder Riders coming right here. It's really going to be up to initiatives. I thought he was going to charge me, but he didn't. Put some backup Steel Force there. I'm probably going to try to move and go there if he lets me. Here, whoever has initiative is fine. I tried to charge. It was a 2+ reroll and double ones. Hey, happy. But I did not got pained too much from the counterattack, and my whole things are coming here. Those guys shot, doing absolutely nothing. And another Thunder Rider is here. I really need to hold the line. And there are still 4 veterans coming soon. This 6 for the Dweghoms, 2 for the Dweghom, but it's going to change probably very soon. Initiative for turn 4. We finish this game at the end of turn, was it turn 5 or turn 6? Still, it's a win this time for the Dweghoms, yay! So I did manage to hold here. Despite every wave that came here, those whole things killed them. Well, at the end it was Thunder Riders, was harder, but they still seized the objectives. I was being pushed back here, even with fire support was difficult. I still managed to hold here, and here the big victory was wiping out the Chosen of Conquest there. Thunder Riders tried to charge this guy, killing one, but then both of them killed the Thunder Riders here. Chosen died here. There were some slingers that were already packed here, and that's about it. So in the end, I held for a while this one, and this one. So it finishes 19-6 for the Dweghoms. However, unfortunately, both Hyacinthe, the Dweghom player who played against Old Dominion, and Valentin, our Nords, who played against Dweghoms, lost. So our team lost this round, unfortunately. Let's go for the third round. Okay guys, we are here for the third round, and the games are going on intensely. I'm playing against Nords, some very nice Nords, like there is no giant, but there is like a lot of berserks, lots of wolves, lots of werewolves, lots of like warthogs, like pigs. How it is, we are playing on Forlorn Hope, and this is the end of turn 2. Here we are contesting each other, alright. I am capturing this one with my little whole balliste, bringing some reinforcements because this might be decisive. And on this side, there is like Ulfnars and Vargar Lord, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce this, and the werewolves. Here I'm very happy because I made a move charge at the very end, and I did manage to contest and take this objective. It means at the end of turn 2, 7 points for the Dweghoms, 2 points for the Nords. And I have this guy that will come forward, and probably like turn 3, everybody comes automatically for me, so that's going to be fine. I'm afraid the center is going to be broken for me, and well, we will see how it goes. But so far, it is fun. Valentin is playing against Old Dominion with Fallen Divinity. I have very, very little hope. And Hyacinthe is playing against his arch nemesis. They play in the same club. And he plays Dweghom, but an angry Dweghom list with ironclads and everything. We'll see how it goes. I believe in you, Hyacinthe. Okay, here we are at the end of turn 3. And let's be honest, it's going really well for the Dweghoms, but he had very bad luck. He missed a charge here on those guys at 3 without any reroll, and those guys wanted to charge here, 3+ reroll, he made 2 and then 2. Very bad luck, and I think this is going to cost the game in the end, but yeah. Here I'm still alive, like barely contesting here. Got the points is 19 or 18 for the Dweghoms, I need to check, to 4, so it's going quite well, and this is not going away anytime soon. My Thanes are here and they're gonna keep this objective as well. So yeah, I don't see how he comes back from there. 2 Steel Forged here to get ready to attack the werewolves here. Those guys, if they get initiative, might get a charge probably here. And then these guys get a charge clear here. It is really going well, but again, mostly because of luck and also because it's a list without cleave. There was actually a big pack of Ulfenars, like 4 stands and a Jarl and everything. They charged here, almost like killed the whole regiment. But then you didn't realize, but there was some Steel Forge right there, and they just had automatic charge and wiped out the entire regiment. So I did make a lot of kill points. The wolves that were there dead, and yeah, it's going really well. We'll see probably at the end of the entire game how it ended, but I don't see how we can lose this one. And now that I have the main objectives highly secured. We are going to finish here at the end of turn 4 because it's been one-sided. Victory of the Wadrun of Hyacinthe, it was very close. Defeat of the Nords of Valentin against the Fallen Divinity, obviously. It was going to be a very difficult matchup. I win because a few things. He made a few mistakes, like when he offered me easy Ulfednar here, obviously. And he made a couple more mistakes, and especially there were like 2 charges from this guy, from those guys, that he failed, that really changed this. And it just basically means that he, even though he started with a bad matchup against my Dweghoms, the lack of luck and the mistakes, couple of mistakes that he made, meant it was very one-sided. We end up 34 for the Dweghoms, 6 for the Nords, and every single turn after this one, I would score 7 more points, and I would end up tabling him. Here I seize, and I would just kill those guys. This one stays mine, and I have these guys still alive, and this big block still defending, while the reinforcements arrive. As you can see, I wiped out the Vargurs from both flanks. These guys finished with the impact and then made a rotation. There is absolutely no way that he comes back from the points, but yeah, I'm a bit sad for him because the few important charges he failed, but it was a fun game. Yeah. Good opponent. Thanks for the game. We finished the day here, and the last game is going to be tomorrow. We're going to eat all of us together. I don't think I will film anything, so I will see you guys. Technically for me it's going to be tomorrow. Okay guys, here we are for the last round of this tournament. I'm playing against Old Dominion. Valentin's Nords are facing Wadruns, and Hyacinthe's Wadruns are facing Dweghoms. Here we are on this scenario where we can bet. It's called Forlorn's Hope, if I'm not mistaken. So we can bet which is going to count double, and if we both choose the same, it is cancelled outright. We are here at the beginning of turn 3. All my units are going to be on the table, and same for his. For now, he has a lot of reserves, some Kenefos, some Bucephaloi and stuff, and he has a list with lots of infantry troops, killing his troops, then regenerating to increase dark power. So it is going to be quite interesting. I am very much afraid of what it's going to be. Like, he's playing very conservatively with his Moroi and stuff. I need to start scoring fast, which I'm trying to do, but I'm afraid the counterpunch will be very difficult for me. My objective is to get enough points early on that I can hold the objectives and make sure he doesn't take points back. We'll see how that one goes. Okay, we are beginning turn 4. He has initiative, he's going to punch hard. As you can see, everything is there. He has Kenefors here. He has some Bucephaloi here. And there is really like this hole by the line. I will try to push here. Those guys are dying. These will need to take the line. I will have initiative, like my next activation. I will try to push here on this Praetorian. I also need to push there. I hope to push my initiative as the here. It's going to be very hard, but very fun. Good luck for all of I made some poor rolling. Let's hope at least if I don't win for attrition, I can win through controlling the objectives. Alright guys, you know the story of how it happens with the Old Dominion. They are just very strong, and I'm just trying to keep my 4 points advantage as long as I can. Though, since I failed the charge, they just one-shot me, no questions asked, way enough. Those cost less. Okay. Here, I'm really pushed hard on every single front line. The only objective I'm quite fine is this one. This one I will try to activate early to go here and through, but is it gonna work? I'm not sure. And here I'm happy because I keep a big block of his army backwards with this wall of initiate. Is it gonna be enough? I'm not sure. The good news is that here he will not be able to stretch with all the objectives. If we are at turn 5, will I survive long enough? I'm not sure at all. And we end up with a victory of the old Dominion. I was tabled by turn 7, even like I tried to hold the objectives, but there was just nothing to do. Like, I don't like to say when it's something about luck, but even my opponent was like, I feel bad, like it never happened. It was really like one-sided. All these 1 or 2's defense evasion worked. All my 4+ morale and defense and everything failed, no matter where, and every single time. So, well, at some point we're just laughing at with each other. Like, there is some people that say the dice tell the story, and when they tell the story of your defeat, you cannot fight against it. That was true, but it was quite hilarious. Like, just to see even the basic legionnaires obliterate whole things. But yeah, it was quite hilarious in the end. But victory of the Old Dominion, there is not even a contest. Okay, that is quite fine. I will try to see if I can get some interview from someone from Parabellum, and regardless of whether I succeed or not, at the end there is for sure going to be a debriefing. And just before we go to the interview, which I actually got with Stavros, thanks to Stavros, I have to apologize. The sound was terrible in the end. I had my microphones on and Stavros as well, but apparently the recording was wrong somehow, and there was a lot of background noise. I tried to clean it up as much as I could, like post-recording, but some parts were salvageable and some parts not. So it's still understandable, but some parts of the background noise is annoying, so I apologize for that. And still, the whole interview is good, and it's great to have Stavros. I will make a little debriefing of most of what we said with Stavros at the end for the debriefing. Yep, just wanted to apologize, and I will put a little text warning as well. But still very interesting and amazing to have Stavros for this interview. Now let's go. So in the end, we did get Stavros for an interview, so thank you very much for all.
So it's my pleasure.
So you are a little bit like the mind behind Conquest in some ways. Is that how you would describe yourself?
I have used the phrase idiot with the original idea in the past. Yes.
You did create an insane lore, and we usually say on the channel that Conquest might have the most coherent lore of all the war games that we know. So first of all, thank you for all this hard work. We feel like it's many years of hard work for all of this. We have a few questions, and we'll try to get some teasers out of you. First question, Stavros. What are the 3 things that you would say separate Conquest from other war games? Whether the lore, the rules, miniatures, whichever. 3 things that set you apart.
3 things that set us apart. The one I would actually argue is the lore, because it comes from one mind, one person, and thought has been given how it works. Not in the moments, but afterwards.
Yeah.
Which is very important. Number 2 is actually rules-wise, which is that with the competition we added timing, not just what you do and to who, which is what we had until now, maneuver and target selection, which were 90% of what you did. But now we're focusing much more on when you do it as being important. The third thing that sets Conquest apart, I would argue, is the fact that we have let our artists lead, not our engineers, which has led to some very unhappy engineers, some very frustrated engineers, but has created an art style that is a little bit more closer to the art and farther away from product, which was always a dream of ours. Like when you see those very sharp, crisp edges and very smooth curves, I never liked them. I always like the old things that give you that feeling of pencil.
And that makes you remember the miniatures later on, way after you've seen it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now more about rules and balance overall. We'll not talk about specific points, but how do you get feedback from the player? You go only for the vanguard? Do you have statistics? How do you get feedback on the balance of the game?
So, one of the and having everything go through your own app is that you see the results.
Yeah.
So we see the results of every tournament that's posted, because it can only be officially posted through the app.
Okay. And then you see the content of the list, what you have.
Exactly. If we start seeing certain lists coming up too often, we start paying very close attention. The problem that we have is I should rephrase that. The challenge that we have is that we are still a small game. We haven't created this massive homogenous community. So you have different areas that play very differently, and in the end, we only see them, which is superior.
Yeah,
At the Worlds, right? When they come to Kios and they play against each other. So there is a lot of feedback there. Let's start again.
Yeah.
So, as I said, there's a lot of challenge in collecting people worldwide and collecting data worldwide. We work through Dweghom. Our app work through Discord quite a bit. And
Links to the Conquest Discord in the description.
yes. And as you will see after the tournament, every major tournament, me, Yanni, or Leo tends to always have a big open. Like an open Q&A where my biggest questions tend to be, do the factions play how they should feel, rather than, it's this balance to be that.
Absolutely.
But then me and Leo sort of clash.
That was the heart of the rework for the Nords, for example. You wanted to make them play more how Nords should feel, how people expected them to
Exactly.
play.
Because we created a raider army that was closer to what a lot of people would consider the Wood Elf analog. Farther away from the
Vikings, demigods,
Exactly. So we shifted the army to a less historical army into a more fantasy, in-your-face army. So we're it is much more challenging than you would think. Because wargamers, not opinionated, soft-spoken.
No. When they think something is broken or underpowered, they let us know.
Yes. Volume.
Something not at all about balance now anymore, but one situation that in our local area meta happens often is we have 3 players, and do you expect to have official rules for free-for-all 3 players against scenarios soon?
We in fact have them.
Oh my god. I know many people are very excited about this.
We actually have them. I am very clearly remember telling them that I want this available online for free.
That would be very nice.
So that 3 people can play between each other. But I will confirm, if we haven't posted it, it is 100% an oversight. But yes, we do have 3v3.
Okay, that's great. We were very happy when there were 2v2 in one of the campaign type that was released, official 2v2. And if there were 3 players free for all, that would be amazing.
Yes, no, we definitely want to do that.
Very excited to see that. Okay.
But yes, no, it's something that has been asked exactly because one player drops out, right? And suddenly there's 3 guys looking at each other, and
what do we do today?
Yeah. So no, very much something that we want to do.
Thank you. Now, a little like you were talking about how the armies should feel, and they play how you expect them to play. We know that there is a Dweghom rework coming up. I'm not asking for big secrets. If you want to give teasers, okay? But just can you share your vision of the Dweghoms, how they should play? What should be the feeling when you play Dweghoms, and how does it change from the gameplay that they have currently?
To be honest, the Dweghom have always been a little bit of a stat check army, right? They've been like, we have very good armor, we have very good spellcasting, we have good damage. They have suffered a little bit on the issue of mobility in the past. But that is something that we want to address. We don't want to create a castling army or a turtling army with high stats. It's just an engaging playstyle for your opponents. So the Dweghom are actually one of the biggest things that we are going to be playing with is a sort of a reverse approach to them. What the hardened rule should always have been is your stats never drop below X. So Dweghom are going to be playing a lot. In other words, their defense, their resolve it's going to be very hard to modify because they're going to have ground floors to that. And in addition, Dweghom, given their lust for battle and their penchant,
their love of war,
and they're the first working children of war. They don't break like other armies do. So now when they break, they actually get angry. The main disadvantage of breaking, being unable to score objectives, will remain, right? Because it will lose the discipline, it will become a matter of one-on-one duels, they get lost in the moment. But they will actually, and you're going to have the ardent faction that's going to lean into this.
So,
and you're going to have the tempered that are going to lean into the opposite. bringing it back. So they're going to gain benefits. Well, the current iteration is, this is always subject to change, that the tempered are going to work when they rattle, when they unbreak, or when they would break but don't.
Okay.
And they will get a temporary buff when they do.
Okay.
Clarity that empowers them.
And Ardent, they stay broken, but they go all in.
Some of them might score, some of them might double the benefits, some of them might be able to charge farther.
Very excited to see this. And will the Warlord, the whole raid, be able to lean in on the Creed? Because currently, it's the one character, if it's your Warlord, he doesn't get any benefits from the Ardent or the Temper. Is this going to change?
So, our vision right now is you have Ardent and Temper. The Warlord would be in between, and that you get a little bit of Ardent and a little bit of Temper. The Steel Shaper is going to be Mushroom. Mushroom. He's going to have, rock, paper, scissors, mushroom. He's going to have nothing to do with anything. He's going to play in a completely separate play style of his own. Because what he does has evolved so far beyond sorcery that it doesn't really reflect anything.
Good teasers. Very excited to see what this is going to be.
And finally, there is one more character that we'll be introducing to the Dweghom. Today you'll get to see some concept art and model sheets for it.
We'll see. Very excited. I will not put any teasers. Could it be a brute character? Maybe we hope one day for the Dweghom, a mech character. Or I don't know. I don't want to get any teaser anymore. And the last thing I want to share what our Dweghom's players are saying. Is there any plan on changing how duel works for the Dweghoms? Because we know originally there were dual faction where everybody can declare duel and everything, but it's very hard. Like you can always decline duels from the command and everything. Do you plan on reworking this and making like whatever about duels, or do you plan to boost the way that they can declare duels and force opponents to accept them? Because you can boost your attacks in duel and everything in your command stance, but you don't have a way to force
the opponent.
Yes.
So here's the funny thing: the duel, as you said, came from an attempt to give the Rey an identity, right? And it was always intended to be a perk. It wasn't intended to be a sort of a main focus of the faction.
The bonus, but not the whole play style.
Exactly. Duels are something that we're trying to work our way through slowly. It's not our main priority, but it's something on the burner that we want to make them feel a little bit more epic and consequential. We're playing with a number of ideas that will require some tweaking here and there. But at the heart of it now, we don't feel the need to lean heavily into it because his playstyle is exactly a little bit of tempered, a little bit of ardent.
That's going to be fun.
And he plays in between.
Very well. Thanks. Well, I think not about the tabletop game, but we know there is a role-playing game for Conquest. Can you give us a little teaser on this, and will we be able to play Dweghoms?
Yes. So, our idea is to grab the most popular system out there, which is
what is going to be? What are your inspirations?
It's going to be D&D 5th edition or 4.5 or whatever this
3.5,
whatever this one is called. And we always gear for it because I know that very often D&D has a notion that it's like, kick down the door, kill the monster. Sometimes. We've never played it that way. And we are creating a player's handbook, a dungeon master's guide, and a monster's manual designed for a more, without it being brutal and dark and evil, for a more mature style of play that has more nuance. It's not a random dungeon in the middle of nowhere for no reason. There's always a building and a reason behind the dungeons. So that's our idea. We're going to create the classes so that they work with our spellcasting system and with our cosmology. We're going to create the Dungeons Master. His guide is going to be, this is the world, and here's 1.5 million story hooks that you can explore on your own. And how could you link story hooks and to help the dungeon master come up with stories, which I always felt was a gap.
Absolutely.
And lastly, to do the same with monster manual. Monster manual, because just to fight with a monster and the monster's behavior pattern can be the basis for an entire story. So the idea is to give you all the raw information that you would get in your standard D&D book, but present it in such a way that it's a little bit more nuanced and more mature, and leans away from fireball, fireball, fireball.
Which is fun when you are a teenager and you discover, but at some point you want to go beyond that.
Yeah, you want to go a little bit beyond. Exactly.
Thank you very much. Very last question, still on the role-playing game aspect a little bit. You make campaign packs and lore packs where there is these very nice stories, some scenarios, some name regiments, very cool rules. Do you have plans on more like general campaign where you have books and people can play Last Arguments of King, First Blood, and even link it with their role-playing games, and you can switch from one to the other?
We want to do this. We want to create a sort of a broad guideline of like, this is a level 1 character in the game, this is a level 5, this is level 10, 15, 20. So to give players an idea on how they could swap their games or how they could use inventory if they happen to have them, to reenact battles, skirmishes in First Blood, all the way to mass battles. So the idea is to marry everything. Our dream was all the way from like hero to sort of a leader to general to emperor. The emperor side is a board game that we're still working on.
Okay. Extremely excited to see how all this is going to shape up. Thank you very much for your time, Stavros.
Thank you guys for your time and your passion. It's incredibly rewarding to come to these shows and see how everybody loves what you build. It's a beautiful thing, and it helps you get your mind on the things that go wrong.
Yeah, sure. Like the tournaments are always, and you meet everyone. Everybody's extremely nice here. Someone said like you come as strangers to these tournaments and you leave as a friend, and that's absolutely what is going on. Thank you very much. And as we said, we've seen Iggy from Iggy TV, link in the description. We make battle reports together, very good French language TV channel. As he said, Conquest is the only game that we play, and as soon as we finish playing, we want to play another game because we're always so engaged, and it's always so fun to play. Thank you very much, and for us, we go to the debriefing of the tournament.
Awesome.
Alright, I hope that you could hear a little bit what was said during this interview. It was very interesting. Again, thank you Stavros and the entire Parabellum crew that was there at this ITC Beson tournament. To make a little summary of what we said, Stavros did say that the lore of Conquest and the cohesion comes from being a small company with one mind, which is his mind, having the original idea. Also not trying to make always the most optimal use of plastic, but letting the artists go free with their concept and everything, which is very important. We had some ideas about the balance and how they get some information, the fact that they have some information from the apps, from the kiosk tournament as well. This was quite interesting. We had some teasers about the Dweghom rework, and this is where I will start to be a little bit careful, because there were lots of things that were said during the ITC Beson tournament, some during the interview, which I can share obviously, and a lot in a Q&A that happened after the tournament with all the participants and Stavros especially, and we got more teasers than we could ask for. Like we had a crazy amount of insane teasers that I cannot share with you. I did ask a little bit like by mail, like what can I actually share or not or tease, and I didn't get an answer. So unfortunately I cannot even tease the biggest revelations, and there were some absolutely insane ones. But yeah, I will not tease any units that have not been announced already in any of the army books. I will not tease any of the new factions that are coming and that we learned a lot about. Like none of this. I'm sorry, guys, but like it's just insane. What I can say, for example, about the Dweghom rework is that, as he has said, they want to push even further this idea that the Dweghoms are the army that you don't need cleave against, because they will have this very high defense thanks to Harden being what it is, and it will be a hard cap at something you cannot go under, which is quite interesting actually. I'm quite happy with that. Maybe it will make Dragon Slayers powerful again. I'm very excited to see Hold Thanes with Herald of Stone or something having good defense, even though with my luck on the dice of Conquest, you know that I wish we go back to defense 5 at some point with something. We will get the rules of 1v1v1 free-for-all rules for free everywhere. We had this discussion with Stavros. Indeed, it is in the Sorcerer Kings versus City States book. There are rules for 2v2, which we saw when we played, but I missed, it's my fault, I missed that there is a free-for-all scenario there, which is quite narrative oriented in the sense it's really like 1v1 and the third player is like making distractions on the side of the table, but still quite interesting. I really am excited when it will be available for everyone for free online. We did get some teasers about the new faction rules for the Dweghoms as well. The fact that they don't break like other factions, they actually get some bonuses when they break, which is going to be for sure an interesting thing. Ardent not caring when they break and they still can get even more bonuses, like they can still capture objective or they can get better charge distance when they break. This is going to be interesting. The Tempered having some bonus when they rally from breaking, so we'll have to see how it works and if you can trigger this somehow, because otherwise you really need a large unit to make sure that it breaks and then you survive and then you de-break and you still have a big enough unit to do something. So maybe it will be pushing you with a Tempered Sorcerer to get large packs of warriors and everything. We'll see. The Tempered Steel Shaper being completely out of the game, and I cannot imagine what it's gonna be, but very excited. I love the Tempered Steel Shaper miniature and the Stone Fort and everything. Really excited with what they will do with it. And of course the whole array being better. Like right now it's competitive, but in the capturing points area, I really am excited to see what it's gonna be. And the thing that has been teased by Stavros, and I think it's gonna come very, very soon, so I can tease a little bit more on this, is that indeed there is going to be a new character for the Dweghom. This has been said. We have seen some artwork already around with this guy with a little, let's say, kind of sort of spirit ghost something in the back. I will not tell too much what it is. I cannot tell you exactly what it is, but the lore is so perfect. In if you consider what the Dweghoms are and what their history is, it's really great. And there is going to be a new unit for the Dweghoms that has been teased. Again, I'm not sure what I can share or not, but what I can say is that it is very much in themes with the Dweghoms. It is related lore-wise to this character that we have seen. They're a little bit different, but they are very much related in where they're coming from. And there is two versions, this I can say. One of them, I guess, is going to be the Aura of Death version. This, I'm speculating, they didn't tell us, but from the appearance with giant flames, I'm guessing they have some Aura of Death, like even more, and I'm very excited for this. The other version is going to be, from what I could see, more artillery version, because they really had some big cannons, a little bit like Fireforge, but larger, let's say. And I am hoping that it will be easily magnetizable, because they look really great. We only saw not the concept but the 3D renders. We didn't see actually printed miniatures, but they look incredible, and I'm very excited for this. I cannot tell you too much about how they play, which side they are, or what they are, but expect a lot of no information about them, and I'm really excited to see. They're probably going to be on the Ardent side, though, when I consider the lore. So it's going to give us two Tempered characters with the Steel Shaper Sorcerer, two Ardent with the... I'm going to tell you the name, or you will get the lore. If I tell you the name of the new character, just the name, you understand immediately what its role, where it's coming from, what it's doing, what is its hierarchy in the Dweghom society. So really well done there, but this Ardent new character and the Ardent Caraway. And of course the whole race, so it's going to be, I think we're getting there in terms of Dweghom faction. They also said they want to rework the duels around, and yeah, but this is quite excited, like not to have a duel being like a little trigger just to kind of break the enemy automatically whenever you have a strong character. It's like not really dueling, like make them harder to trigger, harder to launch maybe, but when they happen it's epic and it really has a huge impact on the game. This is something that could be very interesting. Another thing that was a huge reveal like this, I didn't know, I don't know if you guys knew. I'm sharing this because like they announced it in the interview that there is going to be this tabletop game that they have this vision of having the whole campaign where you start as a party, like you have a role-playing game like D&D where you start as a group of different factions doing some adventures together. Then you start in First Blood when you have some skirmishes, you start to have some followers, you grow in power. Then in Last Argument of Kings you have continued this narrative campaign, you take the power, you fight for control with other factions, and you try to seize a little country for yourself. And then you finish on the tabletop where it's like, I don't know, Twilight Imperium, or I don't know, Eclipse for those who knew this old tabletop game. And when you really handle your economy, your armies, your research, etc., etc., this could be absolutely insane in terms of like narrative campaign. And the cool thing is like you have this, everybody can play with each other. Like you start all together in the role playing game, then you make your first blood 1-on-1, 2v2, etc. Same with the Last Argument of King. And at the end of the day, you gather again the whole group, like all 6 or 8 players, I don't know how it's gonna be, all around like one weekend to make this giant tabletop game where you will all handle the country that you built yourself. And this is like such an insane idea. Like bravo on having this vision, and I cannot wait in many years when we can actually do this. Now I will just share my opinion on what has been showed to us. I cannot tell you any new factions that we've learned many things about. Um, yeah, we'll not play the game of what has already been officially announced or not. I'm not saying anything on any new faction, but on units that have already been announced, I can share with you, I'm pretty sure, what we have seen and that you know is gonna come, at least this. What we have seen, for example, in no specific order, we have seen finally the Profane Sepulchre for the Old Dominion, and well, yeah, it's very cool. Like it's exactly how I imagined it, and I very much like it. There is a surprise coming with it that I cannot spoil, but I think people are gonna like it very much, and they're gonna want to buy multiple of the Profane Sepulchre just because of this. And it's a great idea. Like I cannot wait for you to see this guy. Another thing that we have seen and that is just as expected is the Spire Pteranodon, Pterafon, I think it was, which is this giant aerial creature. Yeah, I will not spoil what it looks like, but I was not very much paying attention to the Pteranafon before, but when they presented us, I was like, of course, it makes so much sense in the Spire roster to have not only this as a data sheet, but in lore, like to have this, I'm like, yeah, obviously it's gonna be there. So congrats on this, even though I hate every miniature of the Spires. Like at my core, like I love it in terms of design and how it looks on the table, but they make me feel very uncomfortable. And this thing as well. Other things that we have seen, other models, are from the Wadroon side, and this is great. Like you know that there are chosen of conquest and death and everything coming, and science for each of them as well. It's been announced. We have seen the sign of death, which is exactly what you could expect. Like look at the chosen of death, and it looks like this, but cooler and better and everything. Okay, but especially, and this is what I want to share with you, we've seen the sign of war. And I'm not a Wadroon player, but when I saw the sign of war, I really considered just starting a Wadroon army right away and just to have this guy. It is for me the best miniature they made for Wadroon. Again, don't consider it to be gospel at all. I'm a Dweghom player first of all, but the sign of war was amazing. And just now that I realize it's a sign of war, that's why it's related a bit to the Dweghoms. Okay, makes sense. Makes a lot of sense when you think about it. But yeah, if you guys liked, how can I say this without spoiling? If you like the Black Rock clan from World of Warcraft and Warlords of Draenor, boy, are you gonna love the Chosen of Conquest, which I guess will be in this style. Like, insane, like absolutely brilliant. Another thing that is, should I be teasing this now that I realize, like it's a Founders Edition for a faction about a character that has not been. Okay, we'll just tease you this. It is a new unit for the city states, and it's a character with so much style that I wish the unit that he leads were in this style as well, because damn, it's like exactly the vision I had for the city states when they first announced. When they said like, yeah, it's gonna be steampunk Greeks like slash Alexander the Great units, and when you see this character, it's like, okay, this is the leader that I want for my city-state. It looks absolutely insane. But again, it's a Founders Edition. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't get an answer to my email. I don't know how much I can spoil about which character it is, but when you will see this, think of me. I think it's like, this is also the type of miniature that you see and you're like, I start this army just for this. Incredible. We didn't see anything about the Yoroni, like we talked about some of the upcoming miniatures that were set in details. You will see them soon, I hope. And they're very proud of what they're doing with the Yoroni, with reason. Like we also had some explanations in the background about recruiting artists and everything. I will not go in detail in this, but yeah, they are really stepping up their game more and more. And apparently, one of the upcoming Yoni miniatures is going to be like a proof that they can have the highest level possible in the industry about sculpting miniatures. Really excited to discover this. I didn't see the miniature yet. And I'm ending up with what was the biggest surprise for me in terms of miniatures, new factions set aside, is for the Sorcerer Kings. We've seen some of the water elementals, which I will not describe about what they are, but I think I can share the name. I was looking if the name was shared before. They are called Nords, and so it makes sense from a lore point of view. I will not spoil what they look like, what type of unit they are, but they are really nice. Look, I will not talk too much about them, but they're nice. They're how they are. However, the thing that really rocked my world, and I did not expect it to look half as good as it does, is the Trinavarta, I think it is, the air monster for the Sorcerer Kings. And again, this is exactly the type of miniature that you start an army for. Like, we saw only the concept art, so let's be chill. But I did not expect this. It is, from what we've seen so far, the coolest miniature of Conquest so far. If they do it at 80% of what the concept art is gonna be absolutely rocking everything. Like everybody in the audience was shouting or screaming a lot. When they showed like the sign of war, or when they showed the profane sepulcher, or this. I will spoil it. This guy for the city states. But when they showed the Trend of Art, like there were literally people standing up so fast, my chair fell down. It was incredible, and people screaming like, "This is madness! This is madness!" I heard someone say like, "This is what I wanted my Archangel to look like for the 100 Kingdoms," and I see myself proxying it as a fallen divinity for my like angelic host for my converted army for the city-state / Old Dominion. But this is insane. Like, you need to see the actual side, the actual everything, but the concept is brilliant. I've never seen a miniature like this ever, anywhere. And I've been looking at my mini factory and all the 3D printers for a while for exactly this, and nobody ever did something close. So yeah, Trinavarta, expected. That is all I can spoil without getting a cease and desist order, I think. There is much, much more that I would like to tease you later on. The only one thing about the new faction that I will tease is about the mercenary faction. Like, we had a name that I will not share again, but the one thing that I want to share with you is that when they announced maybe there's going to be a mercenary faction, vote for this if you want to, I was like, yeah, mercenary faction is great. I'm going to have some more Dweghoms, that's okay, but that's it. However, there's been a deep rework of the faction while keeping in the roots, but just so it's not just like the generic mercenary factions where there is a little bit of everything and a little bit of nothing in the end. They reworked it with a real deep lore behind, and from what they explained it to me, they could be one of the coolest army of Conquest. And just do expect it. Though the name is very funny because everybody's called like this. They're gonna have problem with Warhammer, with Warcraft, because there are armies called like this everywhere. But still, it's gonna be fun. And the concept is great, and it's not just like basic vanilla mercenaries anymore. And it's a great idea. Not spoiling anything anymore on new factions, on new units. Now just gonna be the feedback on the tournament as a whole. It was a great experience. Thanks for the organizers, for the huge work that it has been. Thanks for Parabellum for coming. Thanks for my two teammates, Hyacinthe and Valentin. We didn't make it very high in the tournament, but it's okay. Like, we were still discovering the game, especially Valentin. Like, he discovers the game with the tournament. We kind of like throw him in the water with this, but he learned a lot. Hyacinthe did get some very clutch victory. I also get some losses, some victory, but it was very fun. Thanks to my opponents, to all of them for the very good mood. Thanks to my Nords player to having still the smile after all the bad luck that he had. And thanks to my last Old Dominion player for bearing with me as I was just losing my life like at the end of after all the bad rolls. And I was like, yeah, whatever. It was a very good weekend. Met a lot of cool people. Thanks to everyone. And thanks to you also, the watcher, for having watched all the way until the end. That is very pleasant. Let us know, as always, in the comments what you thought about this, especially because by putting a comment, you can win a Dweghom army, including like the Initiates that you've seen, some Wardens, the Ardent Caraway that you've seen, Flame Berserkers also. Like, you can get all of this for free by putting a little comment. There is going to be a poll during the summer. We're going to choose a winner for this. Also, another winner for Dystopian Wars Armada of the Union. And you can join the Discord in the description, Love and War Games, where we organize gaming sessions regularly. Can be Helldivers, can be Iron Harvest, can be many, many things. Next one is going to be Supreme Commander 2 and Helldivers, of course. And then you gain multiple tickets, 3 tickets, 5 tickets at once by coming to game with us in the evening. Thank you very much for having watched until the end, guys. Next video for Conquest, I'm working hard on this. It's going to be the guide on how to start in 2025 with all the one-player starter sets. Best discounts, how do they combine with the 2024 starter sets, with their old starter sets, how to play, what is the best deal, can you buy it twice, etc, etc. It's going to be a huge video, it's going to be extremely long, but I'm working on it. It's coming as soon as I can. Thank you guys, until the next video, take care of yourself, and remember to keep things fair in love and war games. Bye.